Welcome back to Sleepy Palm Island. Tonight, the rain settles over the rice terraces while you rest inside a wooden cabin, warm against the storm. This story is about balance, how effort yields to silence, how the body learns rest, and how sleep arrives when nothing more is asked. So lie back, let the quiet surround you, and let the rain drift you gently into the story. Night settles softly over the terraces. You find yourself on a quiet slope among the rice fields, where a wooden cabin rests above the mirrored water, its windows glowing faintly against the mist. The air greets you at once, cool and wet, scented with damp soil, with green stalks heavy from the storm, with bamboo darkened by water. You feel it move across your skin, settling into shoulders, loosening the grip of the day, drawing breath deeper than before. Around you, the night has no gaps. Rain folds against every surface, hollow on the broad leaves of banana trees, full on the thatched roofs scattered across the valley, trembling across the mirrors of water, cupping the sky in the terraces below. You stand barefoot at the threshold, bamboo planks beneath you, smooth in some places, ridged in others, each step already carrying you further into rest. Mist drapes down from the mountain, its pale fingers wrapping the ridges, leaving only softened shadows. Through the haze you glimpse faint lanterns, gold dots suspended in grey, their reflections trembling in the water that feeds the rice. The valley holds its people in silence tonight, every light a promise, every promise a companion. Your hands find the railing, fibers damp with rain, grain cool against your palms. The body listens, the body yields. Breath widens gently, inhaling as if to meet the whole valley, exhaling longer, matching the slope of falling rain. Eyes trace the terraces. Each level glows faintly, lantern light mirrored in ripples, gold lines stretching and breaking and forming again. Stalks of rice bend under their jeweled tips, drops sliding down, silent, inevitable. From the jungle's edge a bird calls once, a curved note rising, then held within the rain. Insects weave their endless thread, a fabric of sound stretched beneath every other tone. The night has no hurry. The night waits for nothing, and within this waiting, memory stirs quietly, not as story, not as image, but as feeling. A life of constant noise, rooms thick with voices, days stacked with rushing steps, hours that arrived sharp and unfinished. Now only rain speaks. Now only terraces listen. Now only mist holds its patience. And you, here in the cabin, begin to rest inside it. The thought comes, gentle as water touching earth. I am open to life. I let it arrive as it chooses. The words are not forced. They drift in like fog, soft, without weight, settling deep in the chest. Another lantern brightens across the valley, its shape bending in the mist, its reflection drawn thin on the flooded fields. You may notice the warmth gathering across the back, a steady heat under the cool of night air. You may notice how the arms grow heavy without effort, how the eyes soften at their edges, how the mouth carries no tension. The veranda boards creak under a shifting weight, a sound that folds itself quickly back into silence. Above, the eaves drip in measured intervals, each drop a mark, each mark a reminder that time is a rhythm, not a chase. The body feels this truth. The body rests in it. The body belongs to it. The mist lowers again, draping the valley in thicker folds. Lights blur until they are only smudges, soft flames floating without edges. Every distant form dissolves. Every far contour bends inward, until the world is only near, only close, only this breath, this rail beneath the hands, this sound that carries endlessly into itself. And in that nearness, the thought settles deeper. I trust the path that brought me here. I trust the steps that will come. The rain answers with steadiness. The terraces hold their quiet shine. The night opens wider, inviting the body to rest, inviting the mind to loosen, inviting the spirit to belong completely to this hour. The rain thickens, its drops larger now, their sound fuller, each one striking with a roundness that seems to echo through wood and skin alike. The railing darkens further under the steady fall, a sheen of water gathering across the bamboo, thin rivulets tracing along its curve, falling at last into the earth below. The breath follows without command. Inhale slow, deep and even. Exhale longer, releasing more than air, releasing the noise of remembered days, releasing the tension of tasks that once demanded urgency. Eyes drift toward the lower terraces. There, the water gathers lantern light into trembling circles, rings spreading outward and fading before they reach the far edge. Each circle is complete, and each vanishes in its own time. The mind understands something here. No need to hold, no need to resist. Everything comes, everything leaves, everything returns in another shape. The thought arrives softly, like a voice speaking not from outside, but from within the chest. I am open to life. I let it pass through me, as rain passes through fields. I do not cling. I do not chase. I remain, and I am carried. This voice is not separate. It belongs to the self, to the night, to the rhythm shared between pulse and rain. A heavier gust moves through the valley. Banana leaves bend low, their broad surfaces creasing, their edges trembling with water that spills like strings of pearls into the paddies below. Palms sway in their high crowns, the sound of fronds rubbing together, soft and deep, like long sighs drawn from the lungs of the forest. You may notice the cool air touch your face, then draw across your chest, then wrap around your arms as if it knows their shape. The body does not resist. The body receives. The body grows heavy where it meets the boards, yet lighter where it touches the moving air. A flicker stirs across the far slope. Another lantern, a house hidden in the fog, its glow faint, its edges softened by distance. The thought follows gently, without demand. I trust myself. I trust that I belong in the great fabric that holds us all. Every small act is part of the whole. Every breath matters. Every pause matters. Every step matters. The eyes move upward. Fog thickens across the ridges, laying its pale weight over trees, smoothing jagged lines into flowing contours. The mountain shifts beneath the veil, never the same from one breath to the next, its face written and rewritten by cloud and rain. And the body mirrors this truth, changing at the surface, changing at the core, yet always present in the flow. You may notice the breath sinking lower now, not resting in the chest alone, but filling the stomach, spreading into the hips, dropping weight into the legs. Each inhale brings a sense of grounding. Each exhale releases the need to think, to plan, to hold on. From the gutter above, a new rhythm begins. Water streams in thicker lines, tapping against the stones below in hollow tones. The sound is patient, repetitive, soothing. It repeats without interruption, each strike identical, yet somehow new. You remember another rhythm, the one that once filled long days, keys pressed in haste, steps counted, meetings spoken in quick succession, clocks dividing time into two small fragments. That rhythm held the body tight. That rhythm asked more than it could ever give. The rain replaces it now. The rain sets the new measure. Long, steady, endless. No division, no urgency, only continuity. A gecko chirps from beneath the eaves, a short, sharp note. Silence gathers around it, and the rain folds itself back across the gap. The sound is gone, yet the peace it left remains. The thought appears like a flame seen behind glass. I follow the law of rhythm. I obey what is greater than myself, not from fear, but from trust. The law carries me, when I yield to it, and I yield gladly. Fingers shift slightly along the railing. Drops roll under the skin, cold and quick, yet leaving a trail of warmth behind. The palms rest again. The weight of the arms grows deeper. The body remembers that stillness is also an action, that rest itself is movement of another kind. Mist drifts closer now, curling around the veranda, soft breath against ankles, pale shrouds slipping across the floorboards. It carries no chill, only calm. It blurs the boundary between house and night, inside, outside. No difference, only one field of air, one body of sound, one softness wrapping all things. Another memory surfaces. A book carried but never opened. A window looked through but never truly seen. A table filled with work that held no weight once it was finished. These rise for a moment, then fade like smoke, dissolving into fog. The rain receives them, the night holds them, then releases them. The body loosens further. The chest expands with ease. The shoulders drop without command. The spine stands upright but relaxed. A tree rooted in the soil of this hour. A whisper comes, so faint it might be only a thought folded into breath. I go forward with patience. I do not yield to defeat, for even defeat belongs to victory. Every step belongs to the whole path, and I am walking it, even here, even now, even as I stand still. The valley answers in silence. Fog deepens. Lanterns blur into faint halos. Rain holds its endless tone. You may notice how the eyes soften further, edges blurring, light becoming glow, glow becoming haze. The body asks for nothing now. It simply is. A small splash comes from the nearest terrace. A frog entering the water. Ripples spread across the surface, joining the trembling lines of lantern light. breaking them, mending them again. The water never loses its calm. The breath matches this. It enters, ripples outward, spreads to every corner of the body. It leaves, carries with it all that is no longer needed, returns the body to its resting pool. The thought comes, firm but kind. I am here. This is enough. This moment is whole. And the night agrees, in rain, in mist, in the golden tremble of faraway lanterns, in the warmth gathering slowly at the center of the chest. No effort remains, no need to search. Everything is already here, and the body knows it, and the mind allows it, and the spirit breathes it. The rain thickens once more, not in force, but in presence. It covers every gap, fills every silence, offers one sound that is many, one voice that is endless, one truth that is rest. And you belong to it completely, as if you had always belonged, as if the night had waited just for this arrival, as if every drop were placed here only to tell you, rest. The door closes with a soft, familiar sound. Not a slam, a final hush, as if the house itself inhales. Feet cross the threshold. The floor inside is warm underfoot. A rug folded near the armchair, catching droplets that stray. A lamp waits on a side table. Its switch a small, deliberate click. Light spilling into a quiet pool. Shelves line one wall. Books standing like old friends, their edges softened by use. Paper smelling faintly of glue and ink, and evenings spent leaning into sentences. A narrow desk sits against the window, a laptop folded like a closed shell, a neat stack of notebooks nearby, a pair of reading glasses laid down exactly where hands last left them. The armchair receives you. It is wide and low and worn in the places where the body returns. Leather creasing soft where elbows rest. Stitching that remembers the shape of your back. A throw lies folded across one arm. Thick wool, slightly rough at the edges, heavy enough to feel like an agreement when it settles across the knees. A cup waits on the table, ceramic, warm from recently poured tea, its glaze catching the lamplight into a small, calm shine. The sound here is small, the lamp's low hum, the rain beyond turned vast again, the page of a notebook lifting in the shallow draught. You may notice how the hands open around the cup, how the fingers find the cool rim, how the palm curls naturally, how the breath moves with the warmth in the chest. Thoughts come without pressure now, not commands, but observations that slide from the inside like pebbles into still water. The room is not grand, it is lived. Wool folded on the arm of the armchair, a small rug woven in earth tones, the faint hum of a kettle finished with its task. It is modern in its simplicity. A laptop rests closed, a phone turned face down, both silenced by decision. You lean back, hands resting over the stomach, eyes moving across the ceiling where the lamplight softens the corners. The breath finds its rhythm again, not rushed, not watched, just natural, like water easing into soil. And as the body releases, the mind begins its quiet work. Not noise, not memory pressed upon him, but reflection, arriving as if carried by the rain. He thinks of the years where every surface was crowded, tables buried in papers, inboxes heavy with unread lines, calendars that never left space. Back then, silence was rare, almost frightening when it appeared. Now, silence is the frame of everything. He considers why he left, not in a single moment, but through many small realizations. The way the body ached, though nothing heavy had been lifted. The way the eyes blurred, though no page was long. The way joy slipped further back each season. A guest who stopped arriving. These signs were not dramatic. They were persistent. And so he began the slow shedding. One meeting less, one evening left untouched, one bag packed with more intention than haste, until, at last, he arrived here, a house simple enough to carry only what mattered. He looks at the books again and knows why they matter. They are not tasks. They are companions. Each one offers not urgency, but voice. A poet teaching patience with a line. A philosopher steadying the heart with a question. A gardener reminding him that growth is slow. He feels gratitude not only for the words, but for the fact that he now has time to hear them. The thought shapes itself clearly. The choice of silence is not escape. It is the way life begins to answer when we finally stop speaking over it. He notices how the rain carries the same truth. It asks for nothing. It presses nowhere. It simply falls, drop by drop, and the fields receive it, and the terraces deepen with water. And in this patient rhythm, everything is given what it needs. Inside, the same rhythm begins to form, a hush beneath thought, a stillness that waits without urgency. He feels it in the body, the slow settling of breath, the release of words not spoken, the ease of letting silence stretch long enough for something deeper to appear. This inner quiet is not emptiness. It is presence, a watchfulness that gathers each moment without judgment, without hurry. In this quiet, he remembers himself, not through effort, but through noticing, through the simple act of being here, aware, awake, within his own breath. The tea cooling on the table beside him carries this truth too. It does not need to be gulped. Its warmth is found in holding, its sweetness revealed in waiting. He lifts the cup, the clay now only faintly warm, yet still comforting to the palms. Another memory rises, this one gentler. The first week here, when the silence felt too sharp, and he found himself reaching for noise. But each day, the silence softened, not emptiness, but fullness spread thin. It taught him that rest is not the absence of motion, but the presence of balance. He breathes with this thought, lets it settle deep, and allows it to live quietly within him. The reflection continues, shaped by the quiet of the room. Once, goals were high towers, measured in achievements, deadlines, the applause of others. Now, goals are smaller, closer to the ground, to have a conversation that lingers about life, about dreams, not about passing gossip. To walk in the forest and hear the leaves, to look at the night sky and let it speak, to watch the colors of a sunset unfold, to sit with a friend and keep the phone away, to enjoy a meal without hurry, savoring taste and presence, to step barefoot on grass in the morning dew, to notice the way the air changes before rain, to laugh until the body feels lighter, to share silence with someone and let it be enough. And in these goals, he feels not less, but more. The realization comes without drama. I do not need to chase. What is mine will meet me when I am steady enough to hold it. He looks again around the room. Each object confirms this. The armchair worn into comfort, the shelf chosen piece by piece, the lamp not grand but enough. This is what steadiness builds, not excess, not spectacle, but a life that answers back with calm. And as you sips again, as you leans deeper into the armchair, the thought folds into the rhythm of rain. The path I walked was necessary, but this moment is the reward. The house holds him in agreement, its wooden walls warm, its shells breathing gently, its quiet a kind of music. And in this music he rests. The breath has grown long, so long that even silence seems shaped by it, as though the room itself inhales and exhales, each pause stretching into something wider than time. The rain softens, not gone, but folded into finer threads, its patter drawn thin, like brush strokes on paper. It weaves itself into the hum of the valley, a rhythm without edges, a presence without demand. The body lies heavy in the armchair, anchored, yet weightless in another way, as though the frame of flesh is only a vessel, and what matters is the drift within. Eyes close and half open, close and soften again, no longer choosing between sight and rest. Shapes fade into glow, glow dissolves into haze, and even haze falls away until nothing is left but warmth, but sound, but the pulse of stillness. Inside, thoughts no longer arrive as words. They come as impressions, a memory of faces once hurried, a dim echo of tasks once urgent. But even these lose their edges. They float in, they float out, like mist spilling across a field, like clouds torn and mended by the wind. The truth of rest speaks in this dissolving. Not everything must be solved. Not everything must be carried forward. There is meaning in release, in allowing what was unfinished to remain unfinished, in giving the mind its chance to return to quiet ground. The shelves of books stand in shadow, but their presence is enough. Each one is a life preserved, a voice patient through time. They do not hurry to be opened. They wait for the day when the hand will reach, and the mind, ready with interest, will draw meaning from their pages. The lamp glows faintly, its flame smaller, slower. Every sway of light bends shadows longer across the room. The desk waits with its pen, its folded page, its silence. It does not rush, does not press. It knows tomorrow is another day, and tomorrow will come in its own rhythm. The valley holds its darkness gently. Through the window, fog hangs lower now, spilling into terraces, filling the hollows, until even lanterns vanish. Only the nearest glow remains, a trembling light across water, barely there, barely needed. And still the breath continues, slow, steady, the tide moving in and out of the body. The rhythm is enough. The rhythm is all. The armchair supports completely. Its fabric carries the imprint of use, softened, comforted, yet warm with familiarity. Arms lie loose upon it, palms open, fingers curved, as though the weight of air alone were enough. The house hums faintly. Timbers adjust, settle deeper into their place. The sound is not disruption. It is reassurance, the murmur of shelter proving itself again. And into this quiet, reflection settles, not sharp, not tangled, but whole. There had been struggle once, a life pressed too tightly into hours, days that left no space to breathe. And yet, without those days, this would not have come. Without noise, the sweetness of silence could not be known. Without exhaustion, the weight of rest would not feel so complete. The mind accepts this balance. It no longer fights against what has been. It sees how even the hardest moments bend eventually, how even storms break into rain, how even rain dissolves into mist. Every rhythm has its place. Every place belongs to the whole. A whisper moves through thought, clear, unhurried. Trust the life. Trust the law that guides all things. What must come will come. What must leave will leave. And in the middle, there is peace. The body loosens further, jaw unclenches, eyes drift fully closed, breath widens at its base, filling stomach, hips, legs, until the whole form seems one with the armchair. There is no division, skin against fabric, wood against floor, air against walls. All merge into a single field of stillness. The rain thins again, now only a hush along leaves, a soft tapping at the glass. Its voice grows smaller, but never disappears. It becomes background, a lullaby so steady it no longer asks to be noticed. The candle bends low, its flame weaker, but more tender in its weakness. It flickers against the shelves, lays faint gold across the books, lets shadows deepen in corners until they swallow themselves. The world shrinks inward, no longer valley, no longer terraces, no longer fog, only room, only armchair, only breath. And even these begin to blur. Armchair becomes body, body becomes air, air becomes sound. Boundaries slip away until only presence remains, not form, not thought, not name, but simple being. Another whisper drifts in, gentler than the last. Nothing more is required. Nothing more is asked. Here is rest. Here is peace. The sound of the rain folds deeper into silence. The light of the candle thins into nothing. The breath carries slower still, spaced wide across endless night, and at last all blends together. Rain, shadow, breath, body, until there is no difference at all, until sleep rises like a tide, soft, certain, complete, and in that tide you are carried without effort, without thought, carried into the wide sea of rest, where every drop belongs, where every dream begins.